What's going on, everybody? Ryan Thompson, the Assumable Guy. This is the Assumable Guy Show. Today we're talking about something sellers ask me all the time: what happens to my PMI or MIP after someone assumes my mortgage? If you're a seller sitting on an FHA loan wondering if that insurance payment follows you around forever, this one's for you. Let's get into it. So first, let me clear something up real quick. PMI and MIP are not the same thing, and which one you have depends on your loan type. PMI is private mortgage insurance. That's for conventional loans when you put less than 20% down. MIP is mortgage insurance premium. That's the FHA version. And since we're talking about assumable mortgages, we're almost always talking about FHA loans, VA loans, or USDA loans. VA loans don't have mortgage insurance at all. They have a funding fee that gets paid up front when you close, and that's it. No monthly insurance payment. So if you've got a VA loan, you can stop worrying about this one, right? But FHA loans, that's where it gets interesting. Here's the thing most sellers don't realize. Your FHA MIP has two parts. There's the upfront MIP, which is 1.75% of the loan amount. Most people roll that into the loan at closing and forget it exists. Then there's the annual MIP, which gets split into 12 monthly payments and added to your mortgage bill. For most FHA loans originated after June 2013, that annual MIP sticks with the loan for its entire life. You can't cancel it. You can't drop it at 20% equity like you can with conventional PMI. It's there until you pay off the loan, sell the home, or refinance into something else. Now here's the part that matters for sellers. When someone assumes your FHA loan, that MIP obligation transfers to the buyer. All of it. The day the assumption closes, you are done. No more monthly MIP payments, no trailing bills, no lingering insurance costs. It's their loan now, their MIP, their responsibility. Think about that for a second. If you've been paying, say, $200 a month in MIP on top of your mortgage payment, that stops the day you close. That's money you've been paying since you bought the home, and it goes away completely when the assumption is finalized. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Wait, what about the upfront MIP I paid when I got the loan? Do I get that back? And the answer is no. That upfront 1.75% was paid at closing, usually financed into the loan balance. It's gone. There's no refund on that when someone assumes the mortgage, but you probably didn't even notice it because it was baked into your loan amount from day one. It's not money coming out of your pocket at closing, and it doesn't change the math on whether selling through an assumption makes sense. Let me give you a real example. We had a client with a 2.375% rate on an FHA loan. They were paying about $180 a month in MIP. When the buyer assumed their mortgage, we used Climb Credit Union for a second mortgage to cover the equity gap. Plus, the buyer got $7,000 in inspection resolution. The seller walked away clean. No more MIP, no more mortgage payment. Done. Now, buyers, this next part is huge for you. When you assume an FHA loan, you take over that MIP. It becomes part of your monthly payment. And I want to make this super clear. Even with MIP added to your payment, the math still crushes a conventional loan at today's rates. This is where it gets real. Say you're assuming a $400,000 FHA loan at 2.5%. Your principal and interest payment is about $1,580 a month. Add the annual MIP at 0.55%. That's about $183 a month. So your total is around $1,763. Now compare that to getting a brand new $400,000 conventional loan at 6.5%. Your payment? About $2,528 a month. And no PMI on that one because you put 20% down, but you're still paying $765 more per month. $765, that's over $9,000 a year, right? Over the life of the loan, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars in extra interest. So yeah, the MIP is there. It's real. It's part of the payment. But it's a rounding error compared to what you'd pay at today's rates. Little hack for you. If you're a buyer assuming an FHA loan and you really don't love the idea of MIP hanging around forever, you can always refinance down the road when rates come back down. Once you refinance into a conventional loan with 20% equity, the MIP disappears and you get whatever rate is available at that point. But right now, with rates where they are, locking in a rate in the 2s or 3s with some MIP attached is still the best deal in real estate. I promise you. Nobody is losing sleep over $183 a month in MIP when they're saving $765 on the other side of that equation. And sellers, one more thing before we wrap up. If you're worried that the MIP makes your home less attractive to assumption buyers, don't be. Buyers who understand the math are not scared of MIP. They're looking at the rate. They're looking at the monthly payment. They're looking at what they'd pay if they went conventional. And when they see the gap, MIP is the last thing on their mind. I've never had a deal fall apart because a buyer didn't want to take on the MIP, not once. If you've got a VA loan, there's no mortgage insurance to worry about at all. The VA funding fee was a one-time charge. It doesn't transfer, it doesn't linger, it doesn't affect the buyer's monthly payment. One less thing to think about. Bottom line for sellers, your MIP goes away when the assumption closes. You're free. For buyers, yes, you pick up the MIP, but the savings on the interest rate more than make up for it. It's not even close. Let's go find some sweet deals. I'm Ryan Thompson. This is the Assumable Guy Show. If you want to see if an assumable mortgage works for your situation, hit up assumableguy.com or DM me on Instagram at @assumable.guy. I'll run the numbers for you. No pressure, just math. Next episode, we're getting into whether you can assume a mortgage if you're self-employed and why your tax returns might matter way more than your paycheck. See you on the next one.